guys, so you've joined me for the more inspiration and what I'm actually going to journal about today. It's vlog styley, handheld vlog styley. Hello. So we're in my kitchen. If you haven't seen my kitchen, this is my kitchen. If you watch my videos on my other channel, you'll have seen my kitchen loads. So, right, journaling, and today, what's going on in my life? So, and what do I want to journal about? So, I'm vegetarian, and I eat lots of vegetables. I really don't eat much fruit, and I don't know why I don't eat much fruit, but I don't. And I'm really trying hard to eat more fruit and get more fruit in my diet. And I've been doing really well this last week. I've eaten a good lot of fruit, and I would say that I probably am getting my 7 a day or whatever it is, 5 or 7 a day. I'd probably say that I am, between my fruit and vegetables, I'm getting, well and truly getting that, because I've well and truly stepped up my fruit. And that's quite momentous for me. I'm always conscious about my health and my weight, and I'm always trying to watch what I eat. And so adding more fruit into my diet and sticking to eating more fruit is a massive, momentous thing for me, and something that I want to celebrate. And also today, I have just been shopping and bought some more fruit, because the fruit that I bought has now all gone, which is awesome, because that means I've eaten it. And, so the fact that I've increased the amount of fruit I eat in my day is brilliant, and something that I want to celebrate and journal about. And as I say, I've been shopping today. There's my bags over there. I have been shopping to buy more fruit. Went to Budgens because that is the very nearest shop to us. It's quite a small shop, but it does, for your everyday things, not your big shop, because I live in quite a small village and I have to go to the next village over to get this stuff. So I bought a load of fruit. I have bought strawberries because I absolutely love my strawberries. I tell you what, I'll get everything out on the counter and I will show you what I bought. Here we go. So these are the things I bought. These are non-fruit things. So I bought 2 punnets of strawberries because I absolutely adore strawberries, particularly when we pick our own. Excuse me. Bought some grapes, a bunch of bananas, a pineapple, and a humongous watermelon. Just look at the size of this watermelon. It looks fab. So this little lot, just to me, makes me feel healthy just looking at it. Healthy and also happy, because I like the colours and it just looks delicious, and it looks really summery. And when something looks like really happy and delicious and summery, and I'm just envisaging kawaii fruit, like fruit with little smiley happy faces. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to draw some happy smiley fruit and journal about my achievement with eating more fruit and how it's making me feel. So I'm going to get my stuff and my journal and set up and journal. So starting with my blank page, I just took a flat brush, dipped it in water, dipped it in my watercolour, just used a red, and I started to just paint a loose semicircle, and then just building up the red, the intensity of the red on the outside. And I wanted to do what's called a wet in wet technique, which just basically means that the colours kind of blend together to get that kind of mottled effect. So I was doing this outside in the garden, and the red dried fairly quickly, but I wanted it still to be slightly wet so that it would blend a little bit with my yellow. So I'm just using a yellow to go round the outside and just kind of
you know, blending the edges a little bit. I don't want it to run too much, but I want the edges just to blend a little bit. And then I'm doing exactly the same thing with green. Again, I don't want it to kind of blend too much, but just a little bit to make it look just that little bit more natural. And I just kind of keep going over with the paint to make the colour a little bit more intense. And the key to doing this sort of work with watercolours is to kind of keep it not too wet, just to kind of keep it a little bit on the drier side, and then you shouldn't have a problem too much with it running. But if you're not confident with using watercolours in this way, then I would just wait until it's, you know, fully dry. And then for the background, I just took again my wet brush, dipped it in some blue. I did a few splatters and then just kind of swished the paint all over the place. I didn't want it to be a full block colour of blue. I wanted it to kind of have like a little bit of a wash, and, you know, not too intense, which is why I'm just using a tissue to blot up some of the colour so that I just get a mottled effect. And as I said, I don't want it all over the page. I just want it kind of, you know, mottled and here and there. And then I just used a wet brush again, dipped it in my watercolour, covered over my watermelon, and then just flicked it and sprayed it all over the page. And because it's wet in wet, the colour started to sort of fray out a bit, and which has given me the effect that I really wanted. So once the watercolour was dry, I then used my pen just to draw on the details, like the mouth and the eyes. I wanted to keep it kind of kawaii inspired, you know, nice and simple. So just a happy little face with a little smile. Just using the white Posca paint pen there just to give some highlights to the eyes, but the black of the ink wasn't quite dry, so that's why you can't really see the highlights too well. But I did go back in again and redo that once it was dry. So I'm just using a smaller round brush now into my black watercolour paint, and I'm just kind of painting in the seeds that you get in a watermelon. I wanted to do this with watercolour rather than my pen, so that it faded a little bit, so that they weren't too prominent. I wanted the black pen work of the features to stand out more than I wanted the seeds to stand out. So that's kind of the reason why I'm doing that. And then for the cheeks, I'm just using a red biro, just sort of going round in a circly pattern. Because I wanted the cheeks to be like really intense. This is supposed to be happy and kawaii and not all that, you know, realistic, obviously. And I'm just using a soft B pencil and a blending stick just to give a little bit of shadow on the bottom. I wanted the watermelon to kind of stand out a little bit from the page, although not too much. So I'm just kind of, you know, feathering it just to give it a little bit of dimension, really. And if you haven't got a blending stick, your finger works perfectly well, so, you know, don't worry about that. So there you go. I'm just going over the black again with my paint pen, just to let the highlights stand out a little bit more. Next is a bit of washi. What page is not complete without washi tape? You know, I never used to have washi tape until the beginning of this year, and I know, so far behind the times, and now I really cannot imagine a time when I didn't have washi tape in my life. Yeah, I just absolutely love it now. And I wanted to journal on the background, but my paint wasn't dry enough to be, you know, to be able to do that, and I was getting impatient because I just wanted to paint on that page. So I decided to start working on the page next to that, which is kind of what inspired what inspired this page really was my impatience of the paint not drying. So I'm just using a Posca paint pen to write and colouring my lettering. There you go, keep calm, eat fruit. Because I was just so impatient. I thought the whole keep calm thing was quite good, and this was inspired by the kind of, you know, the pictures that you see from like the war period, you know, keep calm and carry on. That's kind of what inspired that really, and so I just drew a little kawaii strawberry to go on the bottom there. This was never this page was just not intentional, and I think sometimes that's really good when, you know, things like that happen and you're just suddenly inspired to do something. You know, if you're inspired to do something, just go with it if you've got the inspiration. So I just coloured the strawberry in with more watercolours, just being mindful of not to get, you know, the ink too wet, because it does run a little bit on the eye. But I do go in a bit later on with a Posca paint pen just to touch up the eye, make the eye stand out a little bit more. So, you know, you can watercolour over a pen as long as you're sort of, you know, mindful of it. And yeah, I just wanted to let that dry before I did any more. And by doing that page, it meant that the first page was dry so that I could then just journal really. And then when the strawberry was dry, I just went over it with a white Posca paint pen just to give some you know, seeds. It looks a little bit like it's got measles, but it was just to kind of give seeds. I'm not really that bothered, you know, I think it looks fine. And then just using the red biro again to do the cheeks. And then I do exactly the same to the background on this page as I did to the background on the other page, really. So I hope you've enjoyed these two videos. Obviously you had the first one, I talked about different types of journaling and where your inspiration might come from, and then this one actually physically seeing how I get my inspiration and then seeing it through to a completed journal page. I hope you've enjoyed that, and as I've said, I'll share some more of this kind of thing going forward, so you know in my everyday life where I find my inspiration and how I take that through into journal pages. So it was a really beautiful day. I was able to sit out in the garden and do the journaling, which was lovely, really nice and relaxing, and just a really nice way to spend the time. So thanks for watching guys, and I shall see you soon. Take care, bye.